Oh, it's a cold one today. I've even got on my Land is the Limit logo knit hat out here in the fish cave because it's a cold one today. Okay, welcome back to the channel. It's good to be with y'all here from very cold North Florida. I think it's going to be 26 degrees tonight, which is pretty horrifying for us Floridians, you know. Unless the bass are just really hitting shad, or, you know, the hybrids are on fire, I don't like 26 degrees. I will fish in it though, but I still don't have my boat. My boat's been at Bass Pro Shop being worked on since the week of Thanksgiving. They still have not diagnosed it. For all I know, they haven't really tried a whole lot. So that's a different story for a different day. First world problems. But in today's video, since it's so cold and I just kind of want to stay comfortable, we're just going to have fun. And recently, there's a trend going around in the bait community where I guess everyone is rediscovering how awesome the MF MF Colors, or MF Manufacturing, makes a motor oil, and they call it the changeable motor oil. It's basically like a chameleon motor oil. We're about to run a whole gallon of plastic in this changeable motor oil, and we're gonna have a lot of fun doing it. So like I mentioned, we're going to run a ton of plastic today, and I've got this I got this pot cooking. You can see there's still some junk in the bottom. So how I like to clean out my cooking pots is basically just to fire them up. Just turn it on 400 and just let it scorch out the bottom. Then it's easier to wipe out any sludge or grime or old flake that may have kind of, you know, connected to the bottom there. I basically just scorch them out. And here is the pigment, right? You can tell this bottle is unused. Motor oil changeable. It's so cool, and it's kind of been forgotten about. So somebody recently kind of started using it, and then now it's going around again. So yeah, we're going to be playing with that because why not? It's super fun. And here's some trout that I did recently. So before I kind of clean everything up, I'll show you some rainbow trout. Yeah, that's one of our signature eyes there, one of the trout eyes from Jetson. And we ran a whole set of 12 of those. So I kind of poured the sort of the pink pattern in sort of like a bleeding pattern. So you can see the pink kind of looks like it's bleeding down the side of the bait. So yeah, really cool. The guy who bought those is really excited to have them, so I hope he likes them. And then here's another quick thing. So Dead on Plastics, these folks right there, they just released all of their glow powders. So these will make your baits glow in the dark. So as you can see, we have a very large collection of glow powders. Let me know in the comments down below if you want to see some content on this. You know, it'd be super cool to make a few things and then take them out at night and show you what they look like charged up. And what's really cool about the way that Dead On did this is that there's such a wide variety of colors. You know, for the longest time, we had to use just kind of regular phosphorus glow powder in the bait industry. And if you wanted to add color to it, it would kind of reduce its effectiveness to glow. Here we actually have already colored options that we can now actually put real colors together, and it's not going to reduce the glow effect. So super excited to break into those. So let me know if you want to see some glow in the dark content on the channel. Alright, Dead on Plastic swim bait jerkbait blend. We're going to be mixing it up. This stuff works really well for pretty much everything we're going to do today. So we're mainly going to focus on some bigger size ribbon tail worms. But of course we're going to have to look at this pigment in a wide variety of molds. So, you know, eventually we're going to get out the Phantom. We're going to get out the, I don't know, the Ecto Craw, maybe a swim bait. We're going to get out some creature baits. We're going to get out all kind of stuff and just really have fun. So one of my New Year's resolutions for the channel was film videos that I enjoy filming. Don't worry as much about what do people want to see. Analytics this, analytics that, algorithm this. Nah, let's just make baits and have fun. That's what got me here to begin with. By the way, guess what will not be participating in today's video? Ha! Screw you, buddy. Okay, I think it's time. The plastic is pretty much done. Still a little bit of surface bubbles that need to come out. But let's go ahead and start putting in the pigment. Now, one thing about, generally about MF colors is that they are watered down. I won't call them weak or say anything negative, but normally what might take you 20 drops of a different pigment might take you 40 or 50 drops of MF. They just don't seem to be as, I guess, saturated as others. So as you can see on the knife, that's incredibly thin. Even all that we put in, you know, and this is a lot of plastic, of course. So yeah, that's incredibly thin, so we have a ways to go. So we're just gonna kind of keep adding it here. You can see it's kind of an emerald green almost. You know, because motor oil can be sort of a mixture of chartreuse, browns, and reds, and a good motor oil kind of has all of those characteristics to it. Alright, so before we get started, the plastic is almost ready. I have to show you guys a package that I received from a subscriber and a longtime fan who also makes baits of his own. He hooked me up with what this channel needs the most. Yeah! More drumsticks. And they're not just any drumsticks. These are Virgil Donati signature sticks. So I've been using the Thomas Lang signature sticks. So Thomas Lang and Virgil Donati are the most technically advanced drummers that the world has ever seen. It just, don't even argue with me in the comments. And yeah, thank you so much, Darren. Now I'm going to show you his page. Go give him a follow and buy some baits. This guy's doing amazing things. And hey, now we have a little bit of drum roll action back on the channel. So here he is right here. This is his page. That is his Instagram handle. And yeah, you can see he's doing some cool stuff. So Dizzy Baits, I believe, is his outfit. And that's what it said on the package. Yeah, check those out. Those are some Raptors made from the Middle River Baits mold. Yeah, let's see. A couple baits there from Stanks. He's got the AI jerk bait. It looks like, whoops, that's my regular page. Well, anyway, let me try to go back to his page. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, so I think that's the Boss mold there. So yeah, he's doing some cool stuff, y'all. Doing some cool stuff. So yeah, definitely go check him out, give him a follow, and buy some stuff. He's doing some cool things. Check it out. Here we go. Lock and load. Oh, that's just awesome. So we are going to be rocking the Mondo injector today. You can see it back there because we are running through a lot of plastic. So let's do round number 1 here and see how they do. Cool thing about the Mondo injector is I don't even have to fill it all the way up to run all of these molds. This is like a 22 ounce Mondo injector. That's just the only way to put it. It's Mondo. It's humongous. It's an extra large at Wendy's. This is the Grande at Taco Bell. Oh man. Yes sir. There it is. Round number 1 is completed. Alright, let's take a look. We will get out this size worm first. These are what I call the Candy Cane Juniors. It's a 7-inch ribbon tail. They sell it as a 5-inch, but really, oh yeah, but really it comes out 7. Look, yeah, look at this. Look at this. Still a few little micro bubbles in it, but as you can see, look at how cool this pigment is. It's got the reds, it's got the green, the chartreuse, it's got all of the colors that you want in a motor oil, all in one. Oh, you know what? I forgot the dang drum roll. Okay, my hands are so cold, I don't even know if we can do a drum roll, but drum roll please, here we go. Okay, that wasn't horrible. So this is the 9-inch worm. Again, they sell it listed as a 7-inch because it's 7 inches in the mold. So what I mean by that is from here to the bend in the tail is 7 inches. But it hangs about 9 inches. So 9 inches altogether. Yeah, check out how pretty that is. So as you can see, a few little micro bubbles in there. So we're actually going to remelt this and put it back in because the plastic now looks a little bit better. So I don't think we'll have any bubble trouble going forward. I just didn't let it cook off quite long enough, but now it's looking really, really, really good. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the rest of these out. Then we're going to go to round 2, and I think the baits from round 2 will be keepers. Lock and load. Oh man, that just never ever gets old. All right, round 2. Yes, sir. Man, these injectors are so nice. Even though it's so big, it pushes so well, it's so smooth. The tolerances are so good, there's hardly any blowback behind the plunger. Oh, Chris does such a great job on these. These are handmade up in Michigan. The same town where Dead on Plastics and AI molds are. Alright, let's grab one of these and see if the plastic looks a little more pure. It certainly did when I purged the injector. Yeah, still a little bit, still a little bit of micro bubble that just needs to cook out. Yeah, you know, you're always gonna see any little imperfection in a color like this that is largely see-through. You know, if we hold it over there towards the light, you know, you can tell it's not very saturated. But that's what makes motor oil so cool, is that the whole thing's an illusion. If you were to hold this up to the sun, it just looks brown, which I just find fascinating. That's why people flock to color shift and chameleons and color changing additives, because it's just fascinating to see how these things work. Alright, we're actually going to go for round 3 and see if this one is completely bubbleless. Here we go. There are 0 bubbles in the plastic when I put it into the injector. Are there somehow going to be bubbles in the finished baits? Okay, this mold's getting another drum roll just because Darren was nice enough to send me these sticks. And I believe these should have no bubbles. Like none. There's nothing there. There's no bubbles to be had. So these should look perfect. If not, I'm going to be upset. Okay, they're definitely a lot better. Alright. Yeah. Maybe it's just something going on with this mold. I don't know. I'm about to get a different mold out, because there shouldn't be. This is better though. Like there shouldn't be anything going on. Here, I'll show you. I've been making baits a long time. I know when there's micro bubbles. Dip the knife in. Do you see any micro bubbles? There's nothing there. The plastic looks absolutely perfect. Don't get it. Alright, so there's a round right there, looking good. I actually switched to a smaller 10-ounce injector that I can still fill all of these with. And I'm just able to inject a little bit slower. You know, with the Mondo injector, there's so much volume in there. I usually feel like I'm pushing a little faster. And I think just a see-through color like this is real sensitive to fast injection, where you might churn it up or trap some air. All right, so we took some of those first rounds that I just wasn't satisfied with, and we remelted them. So now we can kind of add that back to the pot here and basically keep things going. That way we don't have a lot of leftover, hopefully, at the end. So here's an interesting observation. If we look at the tails here, those are pretty much perfect. You don't see any of that kind of gritty looking texture, right, or any air bubbles at all. And that's from the 9-inchers from the same run that we just did. But the 7 had the little air pocket, or the little kind of gritty air bubble looking texture. So I'm wondering if it's something to do with the mold. Yeah, that's probably the best round of 7s that I've gotten. It's looking really good. You can see this one though still has a bunch of that junk in there, right? And it may just be that we're really splitting hairs. But you know, stuff like that you probably wouldn't even notice with normal colors, but you know, maybe it's just one of those little variations in a mold that is really only visible with a color that doesn't hide anything. So I don't know. So much to learn, you know. There's still so much to learn about this hobby, and even trying to inject a single solid color can sometimes still humble you. Okay, well, some good news. I got a whole round of 7-inchers to come out pretty much perfectly. So that's good to know. Yeah, no, that's what I'm talking about. Some 7s right there, looking perfect. So I think we have solved the problem. And yeah, we're just gonna keep running these. That's what I wanted, was a massive amount of these worms. So interestingly, this video kind of turned into a bit of a scratch my head problem solving, I guess, scenario with those bubbles. And I've had several successful rounds now without any of those little micro bubble issues showing up in the tail section. And I was onto something with the whole inject slowly thing. So how I've had my success is to inject as slow as possible and hold a lot of pressure. Now generally you don't have to do that when, I mean, once your plastic is bubbleless and there's no visible micro bubbles left in your actual plastic, whether it's in the pot or a cup, normally you don't have to just inject so carefully. You're not going to get those bubbles. Today we're having to do that for whatever reason. So luckily we've solved it, but you know, just goes to show this hobby still throws me for a loop every now and then. And you know, now we can have some fun with it. We'll definitely trade out some molds here. But yeah, boy, this one took an interesting turn. So hopefully y'all enjoyed seeing me struggle a little bit. I don't know, but luckily we got it solved. Well, unfortunately we got some laundry going in the background, but we have lined up all sorts of molds. And here's one that we've never shown on camera before. Now they still have in the bolts, so that's why they're not on the vise. But we're gonna have to get out the Mondo injector again, and we are just gonna fill everything on this table just to get a wide variety, like as promised. All right, so we were able to get a lot of it filled. We actually ran out of plastic. We just didn't have enough left in the thing. But yeah, how about that for a spread? You know, what we did mostly today was worms, of course, but I just kind of wanted to fill a bunch of random stuff. So we have the Ecto Crawl, we have the Crazy Hog, we have the Stinger, of course. These are cool. These are the AI hammers. Awesome little swim bait mold. We have the Phantom, and then we have a golden oldie right here that hasn't been on here in a while. That is the Kicker Tail Worm. So yeah, super cool spread. I mean, check out how good the color looks in just all these different configurations. You can see how that looks largely red. Change up your angle, now it's green. That's what's so cool about any sort of chameleon pigment. So here they are laid out, or hung up, sorry. All the worms that we did, those are just the ribbon tails. So we're gonna let those kind of sit there for a little bit, and then we'll show you all of those later on the table. Alright, so we have these two giant piles of worms. There are the 9s, there are the 7s, So I'm going to take them out, lay them out, and then we'll count up the sprues to see how many worms we wound up with. Now, as you can see, we did not remelt the runners on these, which technically would give us, you know, several more rounds of molds. But we're going to see what we came up with today. All right, everything is laid out. Look green from that angle, more red from that angle. That's what's so cool about chameleon pigments. So everything tallied up, we actually fell a little short. I wanted a couple of hundred, which could be 200, 300, whatever it is. That, surprisingly, is only 152 worms total. But that's without remelting all of this runner material and all of the material that we used to fill all of the other molds. You know, some of the creatures and crawls and other things, and just a little bit left in the bottom of the golly, I can't even think, of the pot. You could reuse all that, but it's cold. I'm ready to go inside. I'll say that much. But hope y'all enjoyed today's video. Just having some fun again with a cool pigment. You know, big shout out and thanks, of course, to Dead On Plastics and AI Molds. You know, my two title sponsors here on the World's Worst Fishing. If you're interested in this hobby, this is where you should start, in my opinion. If you're in need of plastic, colors, anything to put in the molds, Dead On Plastics is the place to go. And of course, for high quality CNC machine molds, AI molds, got to give a big shout out to those two companies. Couldn't do this without them. And it's time to go get warm.